I want to put my phone on my head.
La 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 la. Wait, what is that?
I feel a little bad having to bring out people every time I want to fly, and therefore I thought taping the phone to my head, well, it brings my hands free to do the flying. So, I mean, if I had my phone on my head and the plane like this, that it should equal perfect tracking.
Top Gun.
Okay, but having a phone on my head, it shouldn't be that hard, right? Well, I have one of these GoPro head mounts. I don't know, it looks yeah, I know. And then I have to have one of these dive cases, goes on here, and then I take my ancient GoPro and get it in. I mean, this just won't cut it. Instead, I'm thinking this, a cap. I found this 3D printed thing, which I will link somewhere. And even though this cap is the wrong one, this kind of slides on here, like this, and allows you to mount a phone or whatever right here. The problem is, this file was made for GoPro, so there is no mount for a phone. But I thought that I could fix that with some CAD and 3D printing. I already have one of these clamp things that clamps onto your phone, so all I have to do is to connect this one to the 3D printed cap clip. I need a better explanation of that. This is the phone clamp I'm using while filming with this phone, and well, until now it's always been mounted on this little tripod, but since I found this little tripod screw, I thought that I can do some smart solution to just screw it on to the cap mount. This is another tripod I have, and well, it has this screw on top, which is such a good invention or whatever. Just look at this. I can just screw here and bam, it's on. So my plan here is just to well, copy this. Normally I would have just used Autodesk Inventor, but this is just an image. I don't have the license anymore, which means I have to find another CAD software or get rich. I'm choosing the first one. I could use Tinkercad, but I don't want to. I could use SketchUp, but I definitely don't want that. I believe Fusion is maybe free somewhat, but instead I'm thinking Onshape. This is not an ad, but clearly their advertising works. So I thought I would try it out. So I just got into Onshape, I believe, and it already asks for my preferred units. Linear acceleration default. Yeah, I was not able to provide ample commentary while doing the CADing, so I'll have to do it in post instead. Setup was quick and easy, and after that I started CADing something that was not what I was supposed to be CADing. I just pressed all of the buttons to see what they were doing and ended up with this weird shape. I have now fooled around a little in Onshape and it looks promising. It's a bit disorienting, but I think I will get used to it. Now it's measuring time. Let's get CADing. And we're off. First I thought I would recreate this part that kind of slots into the clip I found, which was pretty easy actually. There you have it. Then I realized how to make a new part, so I recreated the screw, which was even easier. Then I found out about assembly, so I started making even more parts. And yes, I know that is not straight at all, and it will cause some problems later on, but at this moment I did not see it of some reason. Then I needed even more measurements of the cap and of the camera of some reason, and I continued with the CADing. Here I have some strange error, and then I recreated the actual phone holder in Onshape as well. Then came time to kind of try and assemble everything, which, well, in Inventor would have been real easy, but here I don't really know what the commands do, and I was trying to center the circle, and yes, I know it's not straight or symmetrical or whatever, but still I couldn't find some way to just have the circle in the middle of a rectangle. I'm sure you can do it, but I just couldn't find it, even though I watched 3 YouTube videos. Then I ultimately just gave up and decided to go along with it anyway. It would be pretty nice having some grooves all around. With that being said, do I know how to make those grooves? No. So, although I've done similar things before, but I couldn't really figure it out here. So is this circle... Oh no. Oh wait. The circle is weird. Yeah, it took me a while to figure that out. So I'm YouTube later and I actually managed to make grooves all around the circle. Finally, I just added some fillets along the top. The cat is now done. It took a while and I'm a bit confused, but I managed to do something. The files are now sent to my friend for printing. So I'll see you in a bit.
3 days later.
Here they are. These look great actually. I mean, this fits in here really well. This fits on here perfectly. There is just a slight problem. Firstly, this screw was supposed to be pressed into this, but my tolerances were a bit off. So yeah, this doesn't really fit, but that's a minor problem. The big problem here is that this screw was supposed to be inside of here. I don't know how I was thinking. I mean, there's no way this thing goes in here. While I do have to, well, redesign this part, I have maybe a bit of a stupid idea which I could use to save this one. Yep, I just made a big hole in the back of it, so now the screw can go in there with no problem whatsoever. Then we had this part where the screw wouldn't fit. Now my preferred choice of islands didn't really work out, so I had to choose another one, but that solved the problem too. And using this new hole I made, I can just push in the screw from the bottom, and as we can see, this actually worked out. I did a final test fit of everything with some duct tape just to see that nothing wasn't seriously wrong, and after that I started planning for the gluing. Now I chose to go with the Carlsson's Universalklister because it was the only thing I had. First I thought I would add some glue onto the thumb wheel, or I don't know what you call that part, but because it seemed like it had some slip in it. Now with that being said, this is a little bit risky because this glue is really goopy, if one might call a glue that, and there's quite a big risk of it running down into the other parts and potentially gluing this wheel into the part permanently, which would kind of destroy the whole purpose of it spinning. So I tried to add just a little bit and then press in the screw. Then I started sanding the other areas, or at least scratching them up. Then I added a thin layer of glue and pressed it together with some I don't know what those are called, like clamps or something. It's been a while. Let's see if this holds. Where do I start? Okay, there's one. And I mean, well, durability testing, it does look cool. Can't argue with that. What a creation. I am pretty sure that this is more than strong enough. And this thing still spins. Damn. Well, this looks really nice. I have one idea which might just take this to the next level. I mean, doesn't this just look so much better with googly eyes on? It actually looks pretty funny.
La 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 la. Wait. What is that?
So how does this thing work? Well, you find your favorite baseball cap and just press it on there. It sits pretty well most of the time. Then you find the thing you want to screw on and start screwing. This may take a while. And there we have it. This is what it looks like sitting on my head, so I have the phone clipped on as well as the microphone connected. Now, how does this actually work out in the field? Well, I just got back from filming a video where I used this quite a lot, so let's have a look at the footage. The first thing I recorded with this was a flight with my Viper, and I can happily report that everything actually worked out absolutely perfectly here. It might be pretty obvious, but since the camera sits on my head, and while I have to look at the plane I'm flying, the tracking while doing all of this is just absolutely perfect. Rolls, low passes and landings, this thing catches it all.
Real fast.
But it wasn't all smooth sailing. We did another flight where we flew with 2 airplanes at the same time, and while this initially started out pretty well, I almost crashed my plane, we soon hit quite a big problem. It seemed like the autofocus on this phone just absolutely lost it, and a huge part of this video is just completely out of focus. Now, we did get some parts that were usable, but a lot of this video is just unwatchable. Now, this is probably a iPhone SE2 problem, and it has nothing really to do with what I built, but still it affected the footage, so I thought I would say something about it. For the next flight, I locked the focus at the tree line, which worked out perfectly, and we got some great footage here. Now, the problem with using this method to lock the focus at infinity is that it not only locks the focus, it also locks the exposure, which was fine as long as we pointed away from the sun, but as soon as I looked into it, yeah, that isn't so pretty. We then decided to stand on the opposite side of the field and look into the sun almost the entire time, which didn't make this any better. But setting aside the exposure problems, I am really happy with how this turned out. The footage I was able to get from this is really compelling to me. Now, is it especially beautiful? No, not really. This is still a old iPhone, but I do find that this angle and the tracking is really something special. And the fact that I can get this without anyone filming me, well, that's just great. For future flights, I downloaded the Blackmagic app where I can actually set the focus manually while having auto exposure. I also added the hole in the back of the file, and for those of you who are interested, I've made a printable page with the file, so it's just free to take a print and do whatever with. Alright, that's it for me. Hopefully some of you guys found this interesting, and I'll see you in another video. Good night.